Let's find out if the newest card in Marvel Snap is truly Wiccan Wackio. Find out what's going on as I hereby invite everyone to join me on my adventures through Marvel Snap. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So we got an interesting card this week, and that is Wiccan. Wiccan is a piece of reclaimed lost energy from when the Scarlet Witch used her reality-altering powers to create twin boys during her marriage to the Vision. His soul got so transfigured by magic that when her world stopped existing, it simply put into another child. He had a rough childhood, often having troubles with bullies at school, until one day he met the Scarlet Witch, who told him to take care of this himself. Unfortunately, his powers emerged for the first time when he did. Wiccan, after nearly killing his bully in his first confrontation with them and his electrical powers kicking in, decided that he had to practice to control them. So he went out looking for assistance, and in doing so he ran across Ironlad, a time traveler who came here to form a team to stop King the Conqueror. He wanted to help, so he became a co-founding member of the Young Avengers, and in the group trained to go on dangerous missions that were mostly failures until Kate Bishop joined. Wiccan has a wide range of superpowers derived from the Scarlet Witch. His main power is the superhuman ability to warp reality by manipulating magical energies. He has no standard spells, usually improvising various incantations on the spot. He only needs to say what he wants to happen, to have it come into reality. While generally his spells are very effective, the spells can be degraded by a lack of willingness to perform them or stress. Wiccan can use his magical abilities to manipulate and warp reality at will. He can use this to increase the powers of himself or others for long periods of time. Sometimes he'll cast illusions on his teammates for fun, or give them enhanced strength in battle. He can also manipulate, discharge, and generate energy as lightning from his hands and fly. But unlike the other magic he does, he can do these feats in an instant without speaking a word. Wiccan has nearly endless powers at his hands. However, he will usually stick to his favorites of light, lightning, and fire. But due to his reality warping abilities, he can conjure objects from seemingly nothing, make solid force fields, projectiles, or even constructions, and quickly heal from all damage. But he does have a weakness. He has to be able to hear his spells or they will not work at all. Thus, Kate always has a few sonic arrows on her just in case he goes rogue. Wiccan is a piece of reclaimed lost energy with the ability to manipulate and warp reality at will. They will often use to increase the power of others. This is represented in Marvel Snap, as he will give you lots of extra power when you summon him, but only if you can reclaim all the energy you have seen up until that point. So in Marvel Snap, what he does is he is a 4-cost, 7-power card with the description of on reveal. If you have spent all your energy this game, he will give you +2 max energy going forward from that point. My rating on him is 1 star, and the only reason I am giving him 1 star is because I do not give out 0 stars or negative stars, otherwise I would actually give him lower. I do not understand this card, I do not get this card, I do not like this card. I'm sure somebody in the future will tell me what I did wrong with this card, where I saw this card wrong, but as of right now, I cannot see a single place where this works. So let me go on why I gave him such a low rating, because I really don't like to give cards low ratings. I really don't. So, let's look at him best case scenario, okay? We're going to go best case scenario. Best case scenario. Turn 1, you get a 1-drop. Maybe you have to even throw a Quicksilver in your deck. Are you really going to throw a Quicksilver in your deck just to get that generation guaranteed first drop? If not, you can already lose out on his power. But let's say you do throw the Quicksilver in there, or you get some other 1 cost that you throw in your deck, okay? So, best scenario is on turn 2, you're throwing down a Psylocke or a Zabu. And that's only so that you can get him down on turn 3. So if you get him down on turn 3, he's basically a 4/7, and at that particular point you've had to do turn 1 perfectly, turn 2 perfectly, and turn 3 perfectly. Now if you do, on turn 4, you'll have 6 energy. Now let's say you did all those hoops, jumped through all those hoops, got everything that you need to. What are you doing on 6 at that point? How are you making that win? There's one instance where I heard to play Odin on 4, so that way you can double the energy again, because he is an on-reveal ability. So he does work on stuff like Onslaught, Citadel, and stuff like that. So, sorry, not Onslaught, Citadel, Kajmata. So, Long and stuff like that actually works with him. So effects like Long will actually help him, effects like Cosmo will actually stop him. And there's actually something where you can possibly even put like Absorbing Man in this to get the extra energy off this too. But let's say you do all that. You've done 1, 2, 3, and now you've done either Absorbing Man or Odin on 4. So now you're on turn 5 and you've got 9 energy. What are you doing with 9 energy that you weren't doing with 5 energy? Where are you using that 4 extra energy? It's not quite enough energy to play extra 6 drops. There was a deck way back in the day, not even that long ago, I should say, that used Electro and Blink. And on turn 3 you played the Electro, and on turn 4, because you had the Electro's extra power, you'd play the Blink and turn the Electro into a 6-drop. And all you had in that deck was Electro, Blink, and everything else was a 6-drop. And that deck has fallen out of favor. Your 6s that you're looking for are, one of the greatest 6s out there is Red Hulk. And that's one of your best hopes, is that you have Red Hulk in your opening hand. So you're looking at a 1-drop in your opening hand, a 2-drop in your opening hand, Wicca, or Wiccan, or Wicca Whack, or whatever you want to call him, and Hulk as your 4 starting cards. If that's not your 4 starting hand, you're not even getting the full power out of Hulk. And then your opponent's got a float energy too. Another card that you're looking at that might be useful would be Blob in this, but unless you're going to stack your deck with heavy 6s, Blob's not going to gain a lot of energy. You have to get Blob out early, he's got to get a lot of energy, and if you're stacking your deck with that many 6s, if you fizzle on this card, you really can't do anything for the rest of the game. That's the problem with this card. It's an on-off ability. It's not a dial, it's a switch. So let's say for some reason that you get some sort of weird location manipulation. There are cards such as Tinker's Lab on 1 that could basically destroy this card right off the bat. You are looking at Superflow. You are looking at Project Pegasus. You're looking at even Collapse Mind. Now, while Collapse Mind doesn't actually manipulate the energy in any way, shape, or form, if you gotta play it perfectly on 1 and 2 in order to make this card work, that Collapse Mind gets to stay for 2 turns. If your opponent plays an armor on that, they've basically won this lane. If the first lane is a Sanctum Sanctorum, and you gotta play into that second location blindly, and that second location happens to be Space Throne and you put your Quicksilver in there, you basically just lost Space Throne. You might as well toss the game. I mean, one of the cards that you could play in here if you did this right would be Goliath, because the good chances are that you have a chance to go on 6. But that's the problem. You never have a 12th turn. Even if you play Magic in this and somehow get the double energy. So let's say you somehow got up Magic or Limbo was one of the locations, and you were able to trigger Wicca twice. On last turn, you have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You don't even have 12. You can't play 2 6s. Now, there is a whole situation where basically the whole idea is that you play Wave. And you hold on to 2 good 6s with Wave. So the turn before, you play Wave. And then basically on 6, you play the 2 6s. So that's basically, you failed everywhere along the way, and you're playing 2 6s where your opponent can only probably play 1 6 on the last turn. I'm just not sure where this wins, how this wins. Now, there is a deck that basically I've thought of while doing all this paper pen, trying to come out with Quicksilver as being a way that this can actually work. Because if you actually do get the Wicca soon enough, and you still have to do 1, 2, 3, which means you still have to play a Psylocke or a Zombie, or both, which means you're taking up 4 slots in your deck just to try to make this combination work in some way or shape or form by itself. Once you pull that trick off, you have the option to play Quicksilver. If you play Quicksilver because it's a 3, on that turn when you have 9 energy, you can play 3 1-drops. And then on that turn when you have 10 energy, you can play a 4, and then 2 3-drops. That requires you to double up on the energy at that point. Otherwise, on turn 6, you only have 8 energy, which means you can do a 3, and a 2. That's not that great. That means even if you get this even on turn 4, naturally, and you make your 1, your 2, and your 3 perfectly work out, and your 4 happens, that means you have 5 and 6 on most games to make this work, unless you're throwing Limbo in your deck. On 5, you have 7 energy. I'm not sure where that 2 extra energy is helping you out. You only have 2 turns to really make this work. If this got brought down to a 3 instead of a 4-7, if this gets brought down to a 3, I'll even make this a 3-0 for all intents and purposes, a 3-2. Let's make it the worst 3 out there. Okay. So let's say it's the worst 3 out there. Then on turn 1, you could play the Quicksilver. On turn 2, you could play the Domino. On turn 3, you do play down the Wicca. And then you get 4, 5, and 6 to actually blow out your opponent. That's 3 6-drops. That's an easy game to make. That's an easy deck to make. You have a guaranteed 1, a guaranteed 2, and a guaranteed basically 3 as long as you find the Wicca. You basically hope you get Wicca in your open hand. If you do, you snap. But it's not a 3, it's a 4. And I don't know if the 7's worth it, because it's the equivalent to having a Stegron that for some reason you have to play in the 3rd location. Even if you play a Stegron in the 1st location or middle location, how many times are you wanting to play a Stegron's worth of stats on 4? What are you ever throwing Stegron in your deck going, hey, if this whiffs, at least I get a 4-7? That's the problem with this card. Even as the stat line that it is, it's just not doing power anymore. And other than Wiccan, into this week's Spotlight Cache, we have Pixie and we've got Loki. The problem is the same with both Pixie and Loki. Both of them are good cards. Both of them are interesting cards. But a Pixie deck is a Pixie deck, and a Loki deck is a Loki deck. And I'm not trying to say that as a bad thing. I mean that as the fact that if you are trying to be a newer player, if you are a newer player, if you're trying to have a more unique collection of cards that you can use in more decks out there. Both Pixie and Loki basically lock you into a deck. They are their own decks. And for a lot of the decks of both Pixie and Loki, you need to own some pretty deep, heavy Series 4, Series 5 cards. And again, if you own all those cards and you're missing these cards, they're not bad gets, but Loki shows up way too often for this to be the week to pick it up. And Pixie really only has like one deck that she lives in, maybe two? And to get one card to make maybe two decks is not really worth it. So for this particular week, if I was not a content creator and I didn't have to blow a key for my content creation, I would gladly skip this week. I, however, do make content creation, so let's find out what's in the box. What's in the box? What's in the box? Let's all find what's in the box. Box is Loki. I think I've done Loki before, but he might have changed enough that I might do him again. I will check my scripts, check my videos to see if I've done Loki. If I have done him recently, I will do something else, but he has changed a lot, so I might just redo him. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, remember, play for fun.